Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today's guest is very, very interesting. So we've crossed paths through a previous interview that I've done. And looking at his socials, I tell people where to stand in front of a camera. So-called writer and director. Michael Keaton is Batman.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it off.
Yeah.
But at that point, you had me. Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
Is to bring people in.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me introducing Archie Wick to the show.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It's good to
my
be
pleasure,
here.
my pleasure. Okay, we're going to start at the beginning, with all guests. Where were you born?
Yeah.
Where are your parents from? And where did you grow up?
Cool. So, wow. So I was born in Yeovil, Somerset. Come from a small village called Somerton. Lovely little village. Used to be like the market capital of Somerset. Mum's from Somerset. Dad's from Wealdstone. How my dad ended up down there. He was in LA, lived in LA. My uncle had bought a pub in Yeovil. Why Yeovil, I don't know. And yeah, when my dad came back from LA, they went and ran pubs and met my mum. My mum was just a customer in his pub one day, and that's how they met. We moved to London, 92. I'm guessing probably about 92. Yeah, so I'd have been about 6 years old. My dad went back to work at the airport, Heathrow, and my mum was a model. She was a fashion model. So they were always back and forth. Obviously, mum was in London modelling, and dad had got a job back at the airport. So they were commuting, and dad was just like, this is ridiculous. So let's go back to London. So that was I say London, Ruislip is where we moved to. Like I said, dad's from Wealdstone, Harrow. And then I pretty much grew up on that sort of A40 corridor, M40, from Uxbridge. I'm a QPR supporter, so all the way down Shepherd's Bush, Ladbroke Grove, Notting Hill, just that sort of corridor is where I grew up and down that really. For most of my life, I've lived in America. I've lived all around the UK, South Coast, things like that. So yeah, that's where it all sort of began really. Strange mix, to be honest. And I'm big into heritage and family, and looking into it, it's crazy. Okay. The expansion and then how it sort of come into where I am and my family. So yeah, so I sort of see myself as a Londoner. That's where I spent most of my life. I'm back here now. I'm to and from America a few times a year, but London sort of, that's my city.
Where the heart is.
Yeah, that's my home. It's where all my friends. Like I said, I was 6, so friendships. That's when they started. Start to nurture my friendships. Yeah. So yeah, really London through and through is the way I see myself.
What was your childhood like?
It was good. I'll be honest, it was good. Unfortunately, my dad was very ill from quite a young age, but it never really affected him until the 80s. He was 39 when I was born, so he was quite old. And unfortunately, the illness he has back then, they had no real. It's not curable, but they didn't really have any treatment. And he had something like 6 operations in a year, and they just cut bad bits out of him, and it affected him. He couldn't live. He's been on very high painkillers and steroids for my entire life, and obviously that sort of medication over that prolonged period just kills your insides. You become addicted to it as well. So we, like I said, we sort of come back. We moved back to London, 92. By 93, they'd classed my dad as disabled, and that was it. Can't work anymore. So mum took up that sort of pillar of the breadwinner, but mum was she was a model, but we're not talking like nowadays model. Do you know what I mean? She used to do like sort of high end fashion stuff, and then mum just sort of took that job on of being the main breadwinner, and really her work ethic is like second to none. So I didn't want for nothing. I didn't get everything I wanted, don't get me wrong, but Christmas and birthdays I did get the Action Men. I was a big Action Man fan. I always got my Action Men and my Lego and stuff like that. But the downside with that is, and I've had this conversation with mum, is she regrets not being around as much as she could have, because unfortunately my father was a father, but only in the aspects he wanted to be a father in.
Okay.
Not like the broad spectrum of bringing me up.
Yeah.
I taught myself a lot growing up. I was on the streets hanging around at 10, 11 years old, causing mischief because mum was at work and dad was just dad. He just sat there and sort of moped about, you know. We only did stuff together that he wanted to do, which was baseball.
Okay.
Funny enough. Like I said, dad was in LA. My dad is a war baby. So obviously his childhood was surrounded in that part of London by a lot of American military bases.
GIs and stuff,
and there was quite a big influence of American sports in that part of London. Dad started playing baseball. That transcended into me. And it was very much the pushy parent. But that was the only sort of parenting I ever got from him because of his illness, his career didn't really take off. So it was all on me. And it was on me and it was on me. But then that led into an amazing childhood because my childhood has always been splintered because I had growing up in London in that sort of culture, right? British, English, living, you know, football, cricket, rugby, all the stuff in the 90s. We had the music, do you know what I mean? The TV shows. But then I'm being introduced into this American side and I'm going to American military bases, which are little America. The food, the music, the clothes, you know, just everything. So I had this split life because I had, you know, because English kids at school, they don't, if you don't play football, you're nobody. They don't care that I play baseball. But then I was with the Americans and it was just totally different. And I've always had that. There's always been a divide, you know. As I've got older, it's improved. But I think that's just come from people getting to know the world more, you know, social media, things like that. We get to see more around us. So yeah, the American side of it was just completely different, even down to the cars. You know, we're living in England, but they're all rolling around in pickup trucks and muscle cars, and you know, and they.
What do you mean in the UK?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because like I said, it was just
they're
they have their own community.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You know, and I lived in both, and I experienced both, and they were all 99% of them were military.
Yeah.
And so the way kids talk to adults in America is completely different.
In what way?
Well, they don't address them with their first names. Everything's sir, ma'am, Mister, Mr. Smith.
Especially on a military base. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, again, I was like, I just call you Dave. Do you know what I mean? like we have that. You know, we don't have that in the UK. It just doesn't exist, especially. You know, I mean, I'm talking working class. I'm from a working class background. So, yeah, I was sort of thrust into this environment, but it awoke me from an early age. I've been blessed to live quite a broad life when it comes to cultures and nationalities. Because, again, obviously Americans are got to be the biggest mix of heritage anywhere because the country's built on immigration. So, you know, you think I'm hanging around with Americans, but I'm hanging around with white Americans, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, you know, like Asian, like Filipino, Hawaiians. So it was just, it was amazing to be honest. Yeah, and just what I gained through it. I mean, lifelong friends. I'm still in touch with all these people. I've just been to a wedding. Yeah, last year of one of the guys I played baseball with. You know, I keep in touch with them. So yeah, it was, you know, that was sort of, you know, primary school leading into secondary school. Then, you know, secondary school, I think, I mean, I 97 I started in secondary school. So, how can I explain it? It's when Eminem came about.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
And I started to get into that. You know, like I always loved music. Right. When I was little, I only wanted to be two things: Michael Jackson or Batman.
Oh wow!
Right. Hence the Michael Keaton as Batman.
But Michael Keaton is Batman.
Right. I was obsessed with Michael Jackson. Right.
Yeah.
The man, he was just the god to me. Right. Always big into music. So then, obviously, sort of like your mid-90s. You know, when your Biggie Smalls and your Tupacs and your Wu-Tang Clan were about, but I didn't understand it. Okay, I'd listen to it, I didn't understand. I don't know what the lyrics meant.
Yeah.
And then obviously as I get into
How old are you then?
So 96, I'd have been 10.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, you're not gonna.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
you
then,
hear it, but
yeah,
you're not gonna. Get
and then
it.
I'm late. I'm August,
Yeah.
so I'm late in the school year when
Yeah.
I was always one of the youngest. So obviously, like I said, sort of hit secondary school in 97, and then that's when you start to you think you're a man, didn't you? You want to grow up. I know what, piss off, Dad. I know what I'm talking about. And then obviously, you know, you get into like Eminem and start appreciating what he's understanding what he's talking about. And then what happens is a garage scene.
Okay.
Garage scene, mate. And that just engulfed not just me, us.
Yeah.
Like that, the movement. Like I see it as a movement, mate. Like from the clothes, the music, just the way we were, and then that sort of took over for me, because the thing is with the Americans is they're only here for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
3-4 years, and then they go off. They go back to the States,
So
Germany,
they
Turkey.
whatever, don't they?
They ship them out, mate. They ship them out. So, and obviously we played Little League Baseball. So the older I got, it was slowing down, because, you know, you can only play to a certain age. It's very much similar to your under 15s, under 16s football. But obviously, I was in secondary school. I wasn't living in a very nice area at the beginning, and started to hit the streets more.
Okay.
And that's sort of where things started to go a bit bumpy in the road. You know, I was never out of control, but like I would, if we were going to do something, we'd do it.
Do
Do
it,
you know what I mean? It was all a laugh. You don't care, do you?
Around,
you don't really have a conscience back then. You don't care.
But you don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You
don't.
don't understand. You can't have a conscience. When you got a conscience is when you understand.
Yeah, you don't. You I say you don't realise how things affect people in the long run. And yeah, but you know, usual troubles that you had as a kid in London. You know, you can call it gangs, but were they gangs? We were just groups of friends from different schools and different towns. You know, and you'd have a punch up. There was no real knife crime. I mean, knife crime was different back then. If someone had a knife, they wouldn't stab you, but they'd cut you. Yeah. Certainly, they'd want to leave their mark, but there was no killing people. No. You know,
and the people that did that then, you knew who they were. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't everybody was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I don't ever remember any. Rarely, some of us would carry a knife, but never. We'd never go out of our element that we'd have to use it. Correct, that's the thing. Yeah. You'd carry it because you thought it made you look like a big man around the girls and the guys you was with. But we never left the town. We weren't going out robbing people and things like that. And then that sort of happened, and then then I left school, and then it was like on my own. Okay, I'm on my own, mate. Leave school.
How did you leave school? Did you
normally? So
with
funny.
Grades and everything?
Yeah, no. So
what did you?
Funny enough, I was thinking about this yesterday. I ran into my former deputy head when I was about 17 years old in a pub. Of course, we were drinking in the pubs from like 15, and he actually said to me, he said, you worked, you figured it out. I went, what do you mean? He went, you came to school. He said, you didn't do anything, but you didn't cause any trouble. Okay. So you just went under the radar, and he's right. I'd just rock up to school. I had a pen, I never had a bag, and I'd just sit there. It was the best days of my life. I got to spend all day with my friends. My mum gave me money every morning to get food. Yeah. I get to play football twice a day. Yeah. And then afterwards, we get to hang around for a bit, you know, on the streets, down at the corner shop, walk home, have a laugh. Yeah. You know, we'd walk down to the next school, see our other friends. But I don't believe in the curriculum. It's nonsense. Okay. It always has been. Okay. You know, and if I don't believe in anything, I'm done, mate. Yeah. If I believe in something, we're doing it. And we're becoming the best at what we can be. Yeah. But I never believed in it. And as I've grown older, I start to get enlightenment, and I start to realise where my abilities have come from. But I look back at, especially my education, and realise that they didn't care. They weren't nurturing people. If you were deemed a problem child, you were done with. They didn't care. Might have been the most talented footballer, talented poet, talented mathematician, but they don't care. No. Because it's too much hard work. They don't want to know. Yeah. And I wasn't a problem child, but I had no interest. What you're telling me doesn't interest me.
Let me ask you a question. When you were that age, did you know what you wanted to do? So you know, like some people as kids, they're like, I'm going to do this. and they've got that. They might not go and do it, but did you have an idea?
I was going to be a Major League Baseball player.
And that was it. You said two things: Major League or
No, so
baseball, or
it would have been an actor.
okay,
I've always been obsessed with film.
okay,
Right, and I'll go back to why in a minute. But Major League Baseball player, and I wasn't the only one.
okay.
I was from the age of about 12.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got all the newspaper cuttings, the articles. There were people saying I was going to be the first English-born Major League Baseball player ever.
Wow, you were that good.
I was scouted. Yeah, I played internationally. I went to America, Europe. I played abroad.
Wow.
And that's what I was made to believe. Filled my head with it.
Yeah.
But talent doesn't get you anywhere. Not on its own. It does when you're really, really young. When boys start hitting puberty, right? Everyone starts to grow up, get stronger, get faster, right? Bigger. It means a lot in the sport of baseball. The harder you can throw, the harder you can run, the further you can hit a ball, you know. Now, I had a lot of natural talent, a lot of natural talent, but it wasn't nurtured by my father. And he's the one that really should have pushed, you know, you need to eat, you're dieting, you need to not do this, you not do that, And talent, I never fell behind, but like fitness, massively fell behind. And I found that out when I went to the States. When I went to the States, I played when I went there when I was 15 and played. And I was 5'9" maybe when I was about 15. I'm playing against 6'3" kids, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, from Newark.
Wow.
Kids from Harlem, Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Boston. Animals, mate.
Yeah.
Absolute beasts.
Yeah.
They were men,
Yeah,
mate.
men,
They were man-childs,
I've seen
mate.
some pictures online of.
They were.
I look at them and think like, yeah.
They were man-childs, mate. But they see sport in a different capacity to us. Okay.
And the facilities for them as well, compared to what you'd have here.
Unbelievable. The facilities. I like I said, I had played internationally and I'd played in some good facilities. Never anything like that over here. I go to America, mate, and we're staying in Hiltons. We're getting coach buses to and from everywhere. We've got the best gyms, the swimming pools. You know, we were training with the Chicago White Sox. You know, in their training facilities. But it's. I understand that's their sport, one of their sports, but they have a different mentality to it. Okay, with their whole education and sporting thing. We don't over here. If you don't make it as a footballer and you've not studied, you know, look at how many footballers at 17, 18 get let go, disappear, have mental health problems. I know a lot of them. You know, a lot of friends. When I went to school, everyone played for Watford and QPR. Okay. You know, and only a few of them they never made it pro. It's good semi-pro. Got some good ex-school friends that were semi-pro footballers. But yeah, it was a completely different world. Absolute. But it opened my eyes, mate. And it made me who I am. I didn't get sucked into this environment as much as I could have been as a kid. When I got older, maybe a bit different, but as a kid, So it was great. Like I said, it created lifelong friends around the world, and it just opened my eyes to so much more in life that you can achieve. You know, it was an interesting time. I miss it. I'll be honest, I do miss it, but it was something to experience.
Where did you go in America then? So who would you?
Chicago, Maryland, Philadelphia.
Like a tour then, or were you just playing?
I played in tournaments over there. We go over to playing tournaments, like futures tournaments.
So how long were you over there for like a 6-month period or something?
On and off for years. Okay. Yeah, on and off for years. The tournaments could be 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Same as in Europe, we go to Europe for a couple of weeks. Playing the European qualifiers for like the Little League World Series, and if you win that, you go to play in the Little League World Series in Williamsport. And then they had something called an RBI World Series, which was actually it was really good. They've started it again now. So the RBI World Series was set up by Major League Baseball, and it was specifically for teams from high crime areas, should I say? Okay, which was great until we turn up. And I'm the only English kid, and the rest of the team are 99% military kids. As you can imagine, we're suddenly in this tournament with these kids. Some of these kids have been inside already, big time. But it was a great, like the camaraderie, the banter, the things like that. So just played in multiple different things, and then and the plan was always to go high school, college, but it just never really worked out. To be honest, just cultures, different cultures from them, from us. America's a strange place. I always tell this as people as outside looking in. There's always a lot of discussion about Americans and racism and prejudice. They actually don't care about skin colour. They just don't like people that ain't from the country, mate. You
serious?
Yeah. I made more black and Hispanic friends when I was in America than white friends, because of the way that I was treated as a British kid.
Oh, because you're not from there. They don't want you there. Yeah. So you're the same as...
You can't come in and play our sports.
Yeah.
You can't. Why is little Johnny not playing?
Yeah.
But he's playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because I'm better. He's better than him. No, but we don't like that. We don't want that.
Oh, wow.
And then you have the things like the cash for places scandal they had at universities where parents would finance these setups and these organisations. We're going to give your scheme $100,000. But little Petey needs to play centre field every game.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't like it, mate.
Okay.
They don't. It's changed. Don't get me wrong, but again, it's where you go. Okay, I go to big cities, fit in, walk into a bar in New York City. Okay, order a beer. No one says a thing. No one looks at you funny. Okay, walk into a diner for breakfast in Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Say what?" They haven't got.
Yeah.
They can't fathom it.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? And why does he talk funny?
Yeah,
why does he talk funny?
Yeah,
it's so weird. I embrace it. But as a kid, I'm talking 15, 16, as much as I thought I was a bad man on the streets and I could handle myself, when you're in an environment like that with no family, because everyone was back here, I'm on my own. Yeah, I've got my team, but they're not family.
No.
That's hard.
That's hard, yeah.
Really, really hard. And even when I went back in the years after to visit, I'd go back and stay with my friend in Maryland for like a month at a time, 2 months at a time. And he lived place called Calvert County in Maryland, and it's like right on the Mason-Dixon line. They're still fighting the Civil War. Oh, honest to God, they're still... Mate, it's the first ever high school basketball game I went to was police. And I was there, and I'm like... First of all, I'd never experienced anything like that, because we don't do that in secondary school. We don't... You go play football, no one comes and watches you. Right? We're at a basketball game for 16 to 18-year-olds, right? And we're in a packed arena, gym, right? It's rammed. And I'm looking around and I'm like, why is there cops here? And my buddy was like, oh, we're playing a school from Bowie. And I'm like, why is that? And he was like, it's a black town.
Okay.
This is a white town.
Okay.
And I was like, what? Yeah. Really? Mate, not all the countries like that.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah.
And you go, and you laugh at them. You just laugh at them. Because you go, guys, it's a couple of 100 years ago now. Like no one cares. They do.
Yeah, they go. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do, mate.
Yeah.
And like I say, you step into that environment as an outsider, they don't care your skin colour, your religion. They just don't like the fact you are not one of them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I made more Hispanic and black friends out there.
Okay.
Because we were all being treated the same as outsiders.
Okay.
And you just obviously gravitate to these people.
You just stick to
and then you can joke about it and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not tarring them all the same brush. I'm just my experiences.
That's your experience, and you were young as well.
I'm now 37. I still go there. Some places I go.
Some places young.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed. I'm just big enough, old enough to laugh about it now. And go, yeah, all right, whatever.
No, but as a kid, 15, 16.
It's scary, bro.
Those things are going to matter.
It's scary. Imagine you're going to a high school basketball game, and there's armed police. And they you know about it. And obviously, you know all the reputations of the Americans and things like that. And then you're being told that that's happening because the school, I'm in the bleachers with the 98% white school, and I'm being told that this is like that because that school comes from Bowie, which is a black town outside of Baltimore, and they don't get on.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like there, and
it's basically gang, similar to that.
It was, but it wasn't. It was just straight down the line, black and white. That's what it was, mate. Yeah. We had people in our neighbourhood who were, I won't name names because it's not, it's a certain guy. I won't name his name because,
What are you talking about here?
No. This was back in the States.
Oh, okay.
We had, in the neighbourhood I was in, when I was with my friend over there in Maryland, we had a certain guy who, he was just straight up Confederate. That's exactly how he would describe himself. He would always have a Confederate flag baseball cap. Never saw him without a can of Budweiser in his hand. And he would openly say, if I could burn a cross on my lawn, I would do it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And
how old is he? Your age? Or?
No.
Older,
I'm talking, back then he was probably 40 something. Grown man with kids.
Yeah.
And you sat there and you were like what is this? I never saw. I've seen things in England and in London, but when it comes to the racial aspect of things, it's not like that. It really isn't. I think a lot of right wing over here hide in plain sight. Over there, they're proud of it. They're proud of it. They fly the flags.
Yeah. I suppose. What do you think is worse then, plain sight or? Because you can see them coming, you know exactly who you're dealing with.
I mean, I think if you know who you're dealing with,
you're better off.
You are better off.
If I saw that guy with a cap but I know I stay away from him.
Yeah.
I don't need to be.
So, prime example, I went to Gettysburg last year. Okay, one of the most violent battles of the American Civil War. And in the gift shop, a kid picked up a Union, which was the North, so the side fighting to free the slaves. Picked up a Union military cap, and his dad pulled it out of his hand and gave him a Confederate one and say, "You have to buy this one, son."
Oh wow!
And I was like looking at my friend, and my friend's like his Scottish background, but they've all because they're military kids, they've lived all around the world, so they're not your stereotypical Americans. They've experienced things, right? They've seen different cultures and religions and all that. And I looked at him, and he was just like, he gets embarrassed. He's like, "Man, I know." He's like, "I know." He's like, "Just." He's like, I don't know what to say.
That's crazy.
But that would be, I mean, we don't have that over here as such, but that would be, I suppose, I don't really know how I could compare it because, you couldn't say a Nazi flag because you can't compare the Confederates to the Nazis, but I mean, I don't know. I suppose that would be. Like I don't know, like if you saw a white kid want to have a Jamaican flag because he liked the colours, and his dad snatched it off of him and said, "No, you can't have that."
That's how you feel that over here.
You've got to have that.
I get it.
And it's like the kid doesn't know.
Admittedly, over there is entrenched. Yeah, we're talking like that guy can probably trace his great grandfather.
Yeah.
To the Battle of Gettysburg.
Yeah, he would have been.
What I mean?
That's what I mean.
Actual battle.
They would have been Confederates all day long.
Exactly.
But they still live it. They still live it. But this is the thing I say. It is entrenched, and I'm blessed because my dad had travelled, my mum had travelled. My mum had lived in South Africa and Botswana. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was never introduced to hate of anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my dad's a war baby. He was born in the 40s, right? So he is old school with old school morals and old school values. But he travelled the world, so it wasn't. And you can't travel the world with them sort of views because you'll quickly get
you unravel.
Yeah, you'll get kicked out of places.
Very fast.
And then it's a funny story. So when we were in Somerset, obviously my mum's family from this town called Somerton, and two of my aunties. And obviously, Somerton's very much like this is a local pub for local people, all that, right? One of my aunties married a Scottish guy from the Highlands, and my other auntie married my Uncle Kevin, who's Caribbean.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine what it was like when these two were out drinking in the local village, right?
Yeah.
But for me, because Kevin was the first black guy I'd ever met, I hadn't. Not like I didn't know what a black person looked like, but I never met one. I was living in Somerset, mate. I know black people around there, no Asians, there's no nothing. No. Just white country folk, right? And that's where this whole, and he was from the bush, right? Yeah. And obviously he introduced me into cricket and then football and then Queen's Park Rangers. And I always look back at them times, and then obviously like my Uncle Ernie being from the Highlands, couldn't understand him, still can't understand him most of the time now, but it introduced me at an early age to young cultures, and then obviously like music, like Michael Jackson and things like that. It's something I always talk about quite openly actually, and I say it's when I talk about role models, is most of my role models as kids were black guys.
Okay.
Michael Jackson, Ken Griffey Jr., Michael Jordan, Eddie Murphy, you know, all people like this.
Yeah.
The movie stars, the singers, the athletes.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I don't like it when I people use that as an excuse. We don't have role models.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Very
You know,
but it's what you take. It's what you take from it, don't it?
Yeah.
It's like we could both look at a picture and see two completely
interpretation, mate.
Interpretation.
It's just the same with religion, even down to the films, reading the book. It's all about interpretation.
100%.
You know, you can meet Christians, Muslims. I've got friends from all over the world. I was in Africa last year.
Whereabouts?
So I was just off the. It was in Morocco.
Okay.
In a place called Essaouira, which is a citadel. It's a walled town.
Yeah, I like citadels.
And but it's very liberal as a Muslim country. Part of that country. It's a very liberal part of Morocco.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant, mate. It's one of the best times I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
But because you go in there open-minded. Yeah. There are bad people in this world.
Yeah, there are bad people. Every background, from every background, every religion.
They're bad people, mate.
Yeah, people, yeah.
You know, but like you said, it's interpretation.
Yeah, 100%.
You read a scripture, how do you interpret it? Yeah. Is it telling you to go out and kill all the gay people? Or is it telling you need to be open to the world?
Correct.
Yeah. And I just feel blessed that I've met so many people in my life that I'm open to a lot of things, because I could have got sucked into it. Because like I said, in them sort of early teens, in some of the housing estates I lived on, there were some very vile, horrible people. Yeah. And wanting to impress and being a big man, I could have fell into that trap and closed my eyes and closed my ears to everything else around me. And I probably would have got lost in it.
So would you say that the traveling is what, basically because you travelled and you had other experiences?
The culture, the sport. The sport was really the one, introducing me to the different cultures.
Okay. And that's the main thing that you think kept you away from taking the wrong path, basically? Yeah, because it you knew there was even when there was something better out there, basically. Even
when I was going down the wrong path, in the back of my mind, I didn't want it. Never wanted to be that.
Let me ask you a question. Is that, so we were at a point you were left school, right?
Yeah. So I left technically because of my.
Is that what we're talking about now?
Yeah. So I left school in year 11, but I was 15 because of my birthday. Oh, okay. Because obviously, you know, I'm an August baby, so I was 15. The baseball career had fizzled out. So I left school. I went to America to play in a tournament. Faced a lot of issues with, funny enough, the coach. Came back. I remember my dad met me at Heathrow Airport, and I said, "I'm never doing this ever again. I'm done. I'm done with the sport." Always wanted to be an actor. I've only got 2 GCSEs, art and drama.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice.
The only ones I've
got.
That's kind of what. Because the only 2 I cared about.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But being an actor wasn't cool to me. Just wasn't
at that
cool.
time, or
just to me at that time, it wasn't cool. I wanted to. If I turn around to my friends that we used to hang around with, at that point, and go, "I want to be an actor," they go, "Shut up, you gay. You know, you idiot." Do you know what I mean? You pussy. You don't want to do that. So I kind of kept it within, and then became a plumber.
Okay.
Yeah, became a plumber.
Yeah,
went to college. Well, that was it. Someone told me back in just before I left school, make sure you can do a job a computer can't do.
Okay.
And we say we're going back to 2002. They said that to me, and I was like, and there was a shortage of plumbers back then, so I went and did an apprenticeship. Okay. And then did that for a few years. And life was good up until my 20s. It was good. I had some good friends. We weren't really, you know, we weren't in crime. We weren't doing anything like that. Just a bit scrapping on the streets here and there. We weren't really into drugs either. Like I tried it. Don't get me wrong, but didn't have a hold over me. It wasn't like kids now are going out every day getting on coke and all that. I mean, we tried it. There was a few people that were like that, but we all worked quite hard. So after the plumbing, I got a job on the underground. Okay. Doing CCTV and things like that. Okay. It paid really well. I mean, I was 18 and
watching it, or
no, installing it. I was 18, earning 45 grand a year.
Nice.
And so we lived well as kids. Yeah, I mean, we were still kids, we were young men, you know. And then life really took a turn when I decided to move away. Okay. Moved away, 20 years old.
Where did you move?
South Coast, Weymouth.
Okay.
Met the wrong people.
Well, why? What brought that about?
So contracts on the underground come to an end.
Mm.
I started to see the dog eat dog world.
Mm.
People who I considered my friends, then all fighting for work.
Mm.
I didn't want to be a part of that.
Mm.
I wanted to enjoy a bit of my time, see something different, move out. You know, not move away from my parents, but move out, be my own man.
Yeah. Your own space. Yeah.
So I did. I got offered an opportunity, massive pay cut, hit me hard. That was difficult to figure out. And yeah, 20 years old, and then spent the next 3 years of my life on coke and beer every day, mate. Yeah, became a massive cokehead.
So what? Going from you guys didn't do that all the time. You indulge a little bit. So what do you think brought that?
Mental health.
Okay.
I fell in with the wrong crowd who were importing drugs into the UK.
Okay.
And distributing it on the south coast from Bournemouth down to Plymouth. Oh, wow.
So it was readily available?
Never paid for it in 3 years.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Because obviously it's costly. You can't just...
And it was big time. 10, we'd meet up at 10 in the morning and do what we had to do. And then I'd be sat in my front room at 7 o'clock the next day, like doing coke, and it was 3 years.
Just constantly?
Yeah, 3 years of my life, mate, yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't know I had a drink problem. I certainly did when I came off the coke because I was like, wow, something's not right here. And it just, I was an alcoholic as well. But again, it's a negative experience I turned into a positive one because it opened my eyes even more. I never wanted to be that. Like you watch the gangster movies. It ain't like that in real life, mate. Looking over your shoulder every day. Yeah. Police.
That's what I was going to say.
Other gangs. You know.
You're seeing all of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I was blessed that the leader. I was with his stepdaughter. So
you're entrenched, basically.
I never really had to be like a foot soldier, should I say?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never sold drugs in a lottery ticket on the street ever.
Okay.
Ever. Never done anything like that.
Yeah.
But I've pushed it to dealers, ounces at a time. That
Yeah.
was what I was dealing in ounces at a time. But I was more of the family than a gang member.
Yeah.
So I was quite blessed that way. And one day he was like, "Oh, we need to go do a pickup, or there needs to be a pickup done, but no one's about to do it. I'll do it. You sure? Yeah, I'll do it. So I come all the way. We meet. So the guys that got it into the country was South London, and we would always meet halfway, somewhere on sort of the M3, M27, and I met this dude, and he gave me everything. We stashed it all in my car. I'm driving back down the M3, like, yeah, big man. Yeah, man, I mean, home and free. I look up, blue lights, right? I wasn't speeding, and I look up, and I was like, fuck, this is it. And I edge into the middle lane. This BMW police car comes up next to me, and the copper says, thank you, and he...
Oh, wow.
And I fucking drove all the way home at the speed limit.
Were you cooked up?
Right, mate.
No, but were you cooked
up?
No.
No.
Okay,
no.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Well, you knew you kept business and pleasure. Okay.
No, criminals get caught because they're morons, mate.
Yeah.
Right. My vehicles were always insured. Right. They were always paid for. I never drunk and drove. I never did gear and drove. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything was secret. Never kept it in my house. It was always kept. We had people. We paid their mortgages and they looked after it and things like that. So I was all right. But if they pulled me out, if they were there for that reason, they'd have caught me with, I don't know how much I had, fucking bricks of the shit, mate. And I just remember like driving back and like to the meeting point, handing it all over, and they're like, "Everything all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Didn't say a word, and I just like, this isn't for me, man. This isn't.
Had you done it before? Had you done a run before?
I'd carried coke and drugs.
No, but what I mean is,
I never had to because I wasn't. Like I said, that wasn't my job within the organisation. I just did it because I was willing. I'd do it. Yeah, it needs to be done. I'd do it.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you know what I mean, I got like half ounce of free coke out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah, just did it, and then, but then again, it's I remember like bleeding.
What do you mean?
So I'm a young man. I'm in my 20s, early 20s, and you think you can handle this stuff, drinking the drugs and that.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I said, I've had that experience where I thought I was done for. I'm going inside, and like my mouth just starts to bleed randomly. My nose is bleeding. Okay. Blood coming out from other parts of my body.
Okay. Wow.
Bit of my nose fell out whilst I was brushing my teeth.
Oh wow!
Right, and I've still got the scars.
How
up
much?
there.
How much coke were you doing, man?
Minimum of an 8th a day.
Wow.
Minimum. Yeah. Once I did so much, I couldn't sniff anymore, so I was eating it, and I lost my taste buds for 4 days.
Wow.
I was biting rocks of it off, and chewing it at 6 o'clock in the morning, watching the Good Morning News Britain or whatever, like that, mate. Yeah, like 20 to 23 years old.
That's excessive.
And it is when you don't pay for it, bruv.
Huh?
It is when you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Innit?
Yeah.
If I could say to you, you can go and eat at the best restaurant every night for free,
I would.
And you end up becoming big fat slob.
You know what
I mean?
100%.
So yeah, and but I never wanted it. Never wanted it. And yeah, I just walked away from it.
Okay.
Rang my mum up. I don't care about pride and shame.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
I've always been quite open with my mum. Rang my mum up. Said, Mum, you got to come and get me. I need help. She come and got me. And I said, oh, just before we go, I need to do something quickly. She's like, what? I said, I just need to go collect some money. Hour later, I'm sat in her car with 45 grand cash. And she turned around to me, she said, I understand why you do that then. She said, you just got 45k in an hour. I was like, yeah, exactly. You know. Yeah, come back to London, stop there and then, stop.
Didn't look back.
Yeah, will be 15 years this year.
Oh, that's good.
15 years since that May this year, 15 years since that moment, and I have not touched anything apart from weed since then. I have not had a line of cocaine or nothing.
That's good.
And it was just stop, boom. And I made a promise to myself there and then, so I was 23 years old, and I said, whatever you want to do in life, you're going to do it. You're going to give it a go. I would rather be on my deathbed knowing I tried than I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, prime example, I wanted to be a pilot. Funny, because Adrian said the same thing. Right, I want to be a pilot, so I went out and learned to fly a plane.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, you want to do it.
I might never fly a plane ever in the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But when my life's coming to an end, I can go, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an actor. I've been in films that have been in the cinema.
Okay.
Bit parts, nothing special, but I did it. You know, and that was a promise that I made to myself, and I stick to that promise to this day. And it's not always the great thing, because, you know, your careers can chop and change, and I can move about, because I like to learn, I like to better myself. And yeah, and then it just it all sort of culminated into going back to the film world.
Okay.
Everything. So, I mean, let's say now I'm 23. I end up going back on the railways for a bit. Now, from here onwards, I can't talk about certain aspects of things.
That's cool.
But we can talk about movie work.
That's fine.
So, obviously, like you said, I so-called writer-director. Right now, that's the simplicity of that is because that's what I am. I'm a so-called writer-director. Right. My biggest pet peeve on all these social medias is you see an actor or a filmmaker, and it's like award-winning, and then you go, oh, what award's that? Oh, it's from the Skegness Film Festival. Oh, yeah, okay, cool, wicked, mate. How many? There was only 2 entrants that year. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, movies is a business. It's what's called the movie business, right? You mean nothing unless you're making multi millions.
Thanks.
The whole point of that business, same with the music industry, is to line people's pockets.
Right.
That is it. If you do not look at it as a business, you will fail from day one, because that's all it is. I'm a writer and a director. I have to write a script and then convince someone to give me £1 million to 10 to 50 million pound to make it. They don't do that out of the goodness of their own heart.
No, I don't.
Harvey Weinstein wasn't a nice bloke, mate.
No, he wasn't.
But he made hundreds of millions, which is why
films he touched
he got away with it for so long.
Yeah.
If you look at all these artists, you look at someone like P. Diddy now, what's happening there? How'd he get away with it for so long? Because he's lining people's pockets, mate.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
And it's the crap side of all the industry in the world. It's not just film, music.
It's everything.
The industries. It's
everything.
Business, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I operate with that. And you know, I am so called until, you know, until people can open a dictionary and, you know, I've got, you know, like Tarantino-esque. It's a word in the Oxford English Dictionary now. Yeah, because that's what people described genres of film like his, Tarantino-esque.
Wow.
And it's now an official word.
Wow.
You know, he ain't no so-called, right?
So that's why you refer to yourself as so-called?
Yeah, because I am.
Okay.
Because not everyone knows. If you turn around and said my name, Archie Wick, no one goes, I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I'm in the industry. I'm doing a lot of work.
But people in the industry know you. Right?
But to a level.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
To a level. Yeah, they're to a level. There's certain people, but it also comes from my other career path of what I can talk about it now because I'm not tied to anyone at the moment. I'm CPO. I'm close protection operative. I'm a bodyguard.
Okay.
I've looked after. I won't name names because it's, you know, it's no one's business. But
A-listers.
Okay, for example, I wanted to be Michael Jackson. I've looked after his family.
Oh, wow.
I won't say which one.
Yeah.
But I've looked after members of his family.
Okay.
Footballers.
Okay.
Music moguls. X Factor judges.
Okay.
Some of the richest people in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. So it all ties into where I believe myself going, my journey, because things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Life will give you signs. You just got to be brave enough to jump, take that, take that risk, see them. Yeah, see the
perspective.
Yeah.
Some people don't see them.
See the sign,
yeah.
Grasp it, grab it, take it, move forward with it.
Yeah.
And you said, run with it. Yeah, so, you know, in that sort of industry, again, more eye-opening, see how it works.
So internationally or nationally?
Yeah, everywhere, mate. Yeah, everywhere. So I'm pretty much here now. I'm here. I sort of don't gravitate out of London. I'm having a bit of break at the moment. I'm kind of concentrating on the writing side of things. But yeah, I'm freelance now. I wasn't, which is why I couldn't talk.
Okay, so because you were signed to somebody before, you had to,
I work for a very big company.
Okay.
And they knew about my film career and stuff. And they'd always say, you know, you in any films lately? I wouldn't be here if I would I? I mean, but yeah, because of that, it's also out of respect for my clients.
But is it, have you got NDAs and stuff?
I did have, yeah. Now I don't. But I would never. I would never drop names as such. You know, I would never drop names as such. Because it's all persec, it's all personal security. You know, you at the end of the day, if people want to get to someone, you got to go for the weakest link, and that weakest link could be anything in that organisation. So, you know, but yeah, that's what I do. That sort of keeps me ticking over with life, and you know, do a right of it. But it also allows me to concentrate on my film work.
How so?
Well, I'm a nobody. Again, I say this: we're nobodies. We go back to Adrian and Yao and that. We're nobodies. We are where we are because of graft. No one gave us a silver spoon. We're not Napo babies. We don't have fame.
What's a Napo baby?
So it's like nepotism, Nepo baby. So you're famous because your parents were famous.
Yeah.
You're an actor because your mum was an actor.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a bad thing. Some of these are really good actors, but there's a lot of people out there who are famous because of their parents, right? So we have to forge our own paths, and we are nobodies. We don't have power. I might be able to write a good script, but industry don't care about that anymore. There's a few people that care about it.
So how do you see the industry now? I'm curious. I'm
It's
a fan. I'm a fan of the whole business of it.
It's awful, mate. It's all awful. Everything's crashing, bruv. All these streaming sites are crashing. They're all losing subscriptions. I've just seen now Skydance are about to buy Paramount out. Skydance are the company that make the Mission Impossible films and the latest Top Gun and things like that. And they're about to buy part of Paramount out.
Yeah, but what do you mean the industry's crashing? The
money's
still there for movies. People are still making
losing money left, right, and centre, mate.
What movies are?
All everywhere across the broad spectrum. They're losing money, mate. So many people are out of work. I know good people that have just come off of years of working on films, TV shows, and I'm not talking little. I'm talking big TV shows, right? Big TV shows. You know, with your funny little flat caps, or that TV show, things like that. Can't get a job anywhere, mate, because they don't want to pay the money that they're worth, but
could it be the industry's just changed, like so the money
they're running out of money.
The money
they're just running out of money because there's
so it's not profitable. So the end project isn't making enough money.
I was told direct from the mouth of an executive from one of the biggest production companies in the world. Again, I won't name names because it's not fair. About a month ago. And his exact words were, "We've made so much shit in the last 10 years, we financially cannot come back from this."
Wow.
They've invested so much money to these movies and TV shows, and then people sit down and watch them and they go, "What's that?"
Do you think it's just oversaturated? Like there's so much stuff out there. Because what I find, my watch lists, I got different platforms.
Yeah.
I got so many watch things on the list on each one.
I come across things I put there 3 years ago, and I'm like,
I'm never gonna watch them. I'm never gonna get through them.
Yeah.
So do you think it's that?
Yeah. And none of it's good, mate.
No, it's not.
None of it's good.
If
the writing's awful.
Even finding what I want to watch is a nightmare.
Yeah. I said you open up one platform, and then you find a TV series, and you'll go, "Oh, damn it. 2019. What? Didn't even know of that." And that could be quite good.
That's great, yeah.
But you're right. But
they've lost the money. They've lost the money already because the streamers didn't watch it initially in the first place.
Yeah. And then you've got companies like Netflix that just don't pay you. They take your rights. You get no royalties.
So how does that work? They just buy it off you basically.
Yeah. And then you basically give up all your rights for it. Not all of them are like that. Some of them they'll pay you for the product, and then they'll pay you per click and your royalties. Netflix is awful, mate. Which is what I mean. They lost something like 2.5 million subscribers or something recently.
Well, with
just with it all because it's all
because
rubbish.
they stopped sharing.
Yeah, things like that. Sharing. They cancel things left, right, and centre. They're just not making good content. They make the one good content, right? So let's be honest. Right now, you've probably got The Gentleman. It's probably flying the Netflix flag, getting the subscribers, people watching it, right? But if you're like me, you watch it in 2 days, and then
have you heard of the Pareto principle?
The what? Sorry,
the Pareto principle.
No.
The 80-20 rule.
No.
So it works. That's my favorite thing so far. 20% of Netflix films or shows is responsible for the total subscription of the.
Oh yeah, I can see that 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's a rule in life.
Same with movies.
Apparently, it's a rule in life.
Same with movies.
Yeah.
Right. You go back to the 80s, Terminator, RoboCop, Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. They spawned production companies.
Yeah.
Because they were so good.
Yeah.
They made so much money.
Yeah, fact.
But what happened 10 years later? Those production companies die or they get bought out because they had one good thing.
Very true.
And then they start releasing B movie after B movie after B movie, and people are going, "Oh, is this rubbish?" It's just a Terminator, but worse. And that's exactly the same. As I said, the streamers, the Gentleman will draw people in. It's great. It's good. The Gentleman is Guy Ritchie going back to doing what Guy Ritchie knows. Okay, I have a bad word, right? But about any of these people, but it's my opinion, right? Guy Ritchie, when you give Guy Ritchie a film to make that is his bread and butter, right? It's unfaultable, it's unbeatable, right? If you like that sort of thing, some people don't like it, like my mum's going, "Oh, a bit swearing," but he's good. But you get him to go direct Aladdin.
Yeah.
It's not you, mate. It's not you.
Oh, the Robin Hood. Was it Robin Hood? Yeah.
Look at Tarantino, right? He's never left his lane.
Nah.
He's only ever made like 10 films. He's making his 10th film now,
I know.
but he's never left his lane.
No, he hasn't.
You know? And he's probably made one bad film, maybe. But even...
What would you say his bad film was?
What's the one with the first one with Kurt Russell? But it was the Grindhouse. He did the Grindhouse films with Robert Rodriguez. And I'm not saying it's bad, but compared to his others, the one with the guy with the car, he's chasing people in the car.
Oh yeah, I didn't even watch it.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
But what people don't realise is but
cinematically, it's
Tarantino, right, is brilliant because what Tarantino does, Tarantino takes all of his influences from films, puts them into modern films. If you can't relate with them influences, you don't understand what's going on. It's that simple. Yeah. I'm writing a film now in America. Right, I'm on American time because I'm up all night, meetings and writing. It won't sell over here. No chance. Because no one understands the culture. What we're writing, you have to be very open to Americanisms to get it.
Yeah.
It won't work in the UK. It's just not a film for the UK. Okay. Right? I'm working on another film here at the moment. I sent a clip to the guys in America and they didn't understand a word they were saying, but it looks really funny. Okay. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
My markets, that's the markets.
You're 1 foot in.
But I can't step out of my lane.
No.
Because if I step out of my
What's
lane...
your genre?
It's unfortunately becoming crime comedy. I am falling into the Guy Ritchie, Tarantino genre. I just am. I'm.
Would you say that's your lane?
But it sells.
Is that your lane?
Is that my
lane? You said
sells, mate.
No, but I'm asking. I know it's a business. Yeah, I'm asking.
It's my lane because I think I've experienced parts of it throughout my life.
You can tell
I've dipped into the industry.
Yeah,
I've seen how funny it can be. Right. You know, and you meet a lot of characters. Anyone that's been involved heavily in drugs and drink, everyone's got the local pisshead down the pub, and there's some funny people out there. Right, it's very sad. Don't get me wrong. It's sad what some people go through, but you got to laugh. I have to laugh. I look back at some of the things. I see photos of what I was like, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! But I just laugh at it. Yeah, it is what it is. You know. Unfortunately, some people don't come out on top. You know. Another reason why I got out of it, because I was 20 odd, I'm hanging around with 45, 50-year-olds and they're dying, having heart attacks on the street because they're sticking all this chang up their nose all the time. But yeah, it probably, I mean, I like comedy. I have a few goals. I would love to write a Batman movie, 100% write a Batman movie, without doubt. And I'd like to work with Tom Cruise in some capacity. In the film capacity, I've worked with him out of the film capacity. Really nice guy, really, really crazy, but really, really nice guy. But he, Tom Cruise is my. If I was to ever become a household name, and I was sat in my ivory tower in Hollywood, right? Yeah, I mean, drinking a whiskey, overlooking the beach, right? It would be because of Tom Cruise. Okay. And
in what sense?
So when I was a nipper, when I was in Somerset, my babysitter lived in Yeovilton, which Yeovilton has the Royal Navy Air Station. Okay. A garden backed onto it. And I have memories of watching the Harrier jump jets, the helicopters, even the Red Arrows at some stage. And then this film came out the same year I was born. Top Gun. Yeah. And somehow, I think maybe 88, 89, my babysitter had recorded it off TV on the VCRs. Kids, you won't remember these. We used to have things where you could record these little tapes. And do you remember top loaders? Do you remember top loader VCR? Do you ever have one of them? You have
to push it in. And
yeah. And then when it like rewound it was like, the whole house shook. Yeah. My dad thought that was the best. He was like, when we got Sky, first ever Sky, the dish was like that big. It looked like you'd launched missiles from it, mate. And so yeah, and then I got this VHS. Okay, so I'm like 4 years old, like, probably not that 3, right? And I watched Top Gun, and it was the TV cut, so they cut the sex scene out of it. Okay, right? I didn't even know that existed for like 20 years, right? So I watched Top Gun, and I'm like, I want to be a pilot.
Mm.
Be a navy pot.
Okay, yeah.
And then Batman, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2 was the first ever film I saw in the cinema.
Okay.
Terminators. I used to. One of the reasons I think my hearing and my eyesight is so good is because I used to stay up late at night. I used to put a towel by my door so you couldn't see the light. I used to have my TV volume all the way down. And I used to scour the channels and watch movies. And then when I learned how to use a VCR, I'd tape them, record them, and I'd watch them over and over. And I mean, like, there was no, my parents didn't really know what was going on. So there was no parental advisory. I remember I'm watching Beverly Hills Cop. I'm recording it, Terminators, and like, again, films like Goodfellas, anything that was on the TV, boom, record. And that's just how I got into it. Okay. Just wanted to be a movie star. I didn't really want to make movies. Just wanted to be a movie star. Yeah. Just be a movie star. And and then, like I said, it died out, and then it came back because I was like, quite good at this. But do you know how it came about? Really, it came about because I wanted to be an actor. Okay. And I wanted to write a movie and then cast myself and be Sylvester Stallone, like he did in Rocky.
Correct.
But he started with poetry.
Who's that?
Spoken word. It all started with spoken word poetry. I used to be a spoken word poet.
Okay.
So
the writing.
Your listeners are going to think this is all nonsense because it's just madness. Yeah, I started writing. I started listening to Scroobius Pip.
What's that?
Scroobius Pip. You ever heard of Scroobius Pip?
No.
He's a spoken word poet and writer and rapper. Okay. So I started listening to him. I missed so much out. Garage was an MC.
Okay. Are you an MC?
I was.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not.
No, that's fine.
I could. I mean, if you give me a chance, I reckon I could hold my own.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of 1, 2, 3. Come on. Right. But that, like I said, we had friends that DJ'd, I MC'd because there was just something about words. I always like words. I always like writing. Okay. That never happened. I mean, we used to do pirate radio and things like that. That never happened. And then I thought about maybe giving sort of like American style rap a bit of a go when I'm, again, after I come back to London and I sort of, going cold turkey from the drugs. And then I just found spoken word poetry. I started writing spoken word poetry, doing that. And I had a guy on Twitter just followed me, never met the dude, ever, never met him. He sends me a private message. Oh, hello, mate. You should get in contact with this company. They record spoken word poetry videos. Who is it? Mellow 9, Adrian Scott.
Oh, very nice.
Right?
Very nice.
I contact Adrian. Took me a year to contact him because I was scared.
Yeah.
I didn't want rejection. Getting over rejection is the biggest part in this industry. Telling people you're rubbish. And they do.
What do you mean?
Well, being a writer in film is 9 out of 10. You get 9 rejections out of 10, and it's the worst thing ever.
What,
it's
it
people,
hurts?
Yeah, of course it does. And I mean, it doesn't now. Back then, it's like no formal training or anything like that. It was just I taught myself how to do it. I did eventually go to do a bit of film school. So yeah, it took me a year to get hold of Adrian, but in that year I was writing these spoken word poems and stuff like that. I didn't tell anyone. I'm 6'1", covered in tattoos, mate. I'm not a poet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, unfortunately, the poetry scene is very liberal and left of vegans, mate. Not that I got anything against it, but it just is. It is, mate. There's a few Sudbury soldiers and people like that doing poetry, but there's not many, you know. And so I reach out to Adrian, and we don't know each other. And he's like, "Yeah, this is what it costs. I'll pay him the money." We meet day one to do this shoot, and it was instant. Okay, instant. He was like, he's like, "You're like the white me." He was like, and it was everything clicked. Yeah, it just clicked, mate. Just our love of film and our geekiness for film. Yeah. And then I had this. Then that was where it came from. I had this stint. I performed at Glastonbury twice, spoken word poetry stage. Wow. Did this stint. Had a few videos out. They're out on YouTube. You won't find them because it's a different name. Yeah. Did a few documentaries with Adrian, and then this, concentrating on writing. You
progressed from
just wrote.
Yeah.
But it took me 12 years to ever give a script to anyone.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Didn't give my first script to anyone since. When did I? 2021.
So you've been writing since then, but you didn't. Okay.
2021 is when I gave my first script ever to a production company.
What's your process writing? I'm curious. Like what? Like,
difficult because I'm mad.
What do you mean?
I don't stop. I've created 4 films in my head the time we've been sat here.
Oh wow.
3 in the car on the way up.
Well,
Adrian tells me to slow down, mate.
Are you serious? What, at that pace?
Oh, it's mad. No, it's mad. It just comes from a thing as like I said, as a child. I always watch movies, and then like some people put their head on a pillow and go sleep. I put my head on a pillow, and the intro credits start to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, MGM and all that,
Yeah.
and then I start. I see it. Okay. I see it in my head.
Yeah.
And
so you visualize it. That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
So you visualize it. Even though it's like fast paced,
yeah.
you visualize it first. How do you visualize it? As a story or as a film? Because you're writing a script, right? But do you visualize it
as a story, as a beginning and an end?
Okay.
Great beginning, great end.
So you start with the beginning and the end,
and then fill the middle.
And then you fill the middle.
Fill the middle. Yeah, that's what I like. I like a great beginning and a great ending.
Okay.
And then I like to fill the middle. And I like to write to music.
You like to write to music?
Yeah, music's my thing.
Yeah, that must be amazing.
The people don't do it anymore. Very rare. Very, very
But that
rare.
must be amazing because at the end of the day, the music sets the scene.
Yeah, of course.
So wherever you're writing, if you got to write, because
But I grew up with 80s films when bands used to write albums for films.
I was just about to say
Highlander. Queen wrote an entire album for the film, literally.
Yeah.
Okay, I call it MTV filmmaking.
Have you heard of a guy called Mervyn Van Peebles?
I've heard of the name, but
he's a blaxploitation
Well, okay, yeah.
director. He's got a son, Melvin, and he's got a son. They did a film called Posse years ago.
Right, yeah.
Cowboy film, black cowboy film.
Yeah.
He's the guy that invented that. Yeah.
Really?
So he creates. I don't know the name of the
So
film.
then, I guarantee if you look into it, he'll be an influence of someone like Tarantino.
Yeah,
because he's big with that.
Fact, because he's the first person. I watched a documentary about it, and he made a movie, a blaxploitation film. And who was the who scored it again? I'm sure it was what's the guy? And then Shaft came later. So
right, okay, yeah.
You know the guy that scored Shaft?
Yeah, I couldn't. No, to be honest.
Your pusher man.
I couldn't tell you the name.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name.
You need a Jamie like Joe Rogan to Google this stuff
Jamie,
on the side.
Yeah. No, but Melvin Van Peebles.
Okay,
He
cool.
was the director that did that first. And the movie.
Do you know why Tarantino's got so much influence from blaxploitation? Because his mum used to date black guys.
Okay.
And they used to take him on the dates, which would be to a blaxploitation film.
Movie, yeah.
And that's where it came from.
Yeah,
it's madness, isn't it?
It's
crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And you look at someone, like Tarantino, right? And let's say don't judge a book by its cover, but if you saw that guy in a bar, you go some skinny weasel dude. Yeah. But like you would never consider what goes on in his head, and his inspirations and influences in life. Yeah,
who he is as a person.
But he's also someone that don't care. This is how I want to do it. You know, this is why I wanted to be an actor, but I was a really good writer. And then I became an actor, and I'm watching directors, and I'm like, do they even know what they're doing? Do they even know what they want? Like, I've been on so many productions where I've had to go, no, right, you need to stand there, mate, because the camera's there. Well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And the director just stood there like, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, if you can do it, I'm better than this, because I know what I want. Yeah. I know what I see in my head. And being a director, it's no different from being a manager, mate. Right? Where it doesn't matter what sport you're in, right? You've got a budget to work with. Right? You've got an end goal. You've got to select the best players or athletes to do that challenge, complete that goal. Right? You've got to manage people. Every single one of your cast or squad have different personalities with different problems going on. Do you know what I mean? You have to protect the younger people, the more influential, not influential,
the more influence
people, the more naive people. You need to protect them on their journey. You need to respect the elders, the veterans that have been through it,
seen it. They can help you.
It's no different, mate. And that's how I go into it. I know what I want. I know my vision. I bring in people around me who are good. I do not care how a camera works. One little bit, right? I don't care. I'm not interested. It's not my job. I've got DOP for that, right?
So that's the DOP's job.
Yeah.
So the DOP makes sure. So you say
director of photography.
Yeah. So you say I want to see that.
Yeah.
The DOP makes it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And the gaffer with the lighting, everything,
Yeah.
the makeup, the props, you know, art department, continuity. I don't care about that. I don't care. It's not my job. I really don't care about an ISO setting on a camera. I'm not interested. I ain't the one spending 10 years learning that. I'm 37 years old.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and find the best person that I can, who knows that insight, who sleeps that. It's his bread and butter, dreams about lighting and camera settings and lenses and things like that. Well, that's why there's so many credit names on a credit of a film, mate.
Very true, yeah.
And they're people's livings, it's their livelihood. Who am I to take that away from them?
Yeah, very true.
You know, I've got the story in my head. I've put it on paper for you, right? I'll tell you the shots I want. You make it happen. I don't care how, and I really don't care. I've got no interest. I want the room to look hazy with a blue tint. How? I don't know. It's your job, mate. It's not mine. Just make it happen.
Okay.
And that's how it should be. I'm a football manager, and they're my coaches. You know, that player's a bit slow. We need to improve his speed. How? Well, you're you know,
that's your job.
It's your job.
Yeah.
You're the fitness instructor.
I never looked at that.
That's how it is, mate. And
Swallow.
swallow your pride. Listen to people.
What do you mean?
Well, people come on board and they come into this industry.
From what perspective? From
anything in life. Okay. From a man, I'll tell you, from a man, men need to start swallowing their pride, mate, in this world, especially over here, where there's too many that think they know it all and they're big hard men, and you know, people are dying out here on the streets, mate, because of this nonsense. But in industry, in your job, in your work environment, we all make mistakes. There's always someone out there that knows more than you. Always. Always. Right? Adrian, obviously your previous guest, has forgot more about filmmaking than I'll probably ever know.
What do you mean?
Right? He's been doing this so long. He knows people left, right, and centre. He's seen it. You know, he knows the good productions from the bad productions. I do. I learn it. Sometimes I like to be involved in a bad film, just to remind myself how things shouldn't be done. Right? Yeah. I listen to him because he knows it. He'll ask me for advice on some things. You know, I've been on sets with people, big stars, little stars, and I want their input. I listen. I talk to them. You know, some of these sets I shouldn't have been on, but I've got the gift of the gab. I know how to get into places, and I'll just sit there quietly and watch and things like that. But that's that's networking. That's what happens. But yeah, you know, that filmmaking, TV, everything is a nasty business. Anything with entertainment's nasty. It really is. If I was in the position I'm in now 15 years ago, I'd probably fall into a rabbit hole, big time.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've had to work hard. I've had to see the nonsense. Obviously, working in private security industry, I can see through people. I can read a room. Yeah. I know when things are bad. Yeah. But I'm also not scared about being cancelled or it affecting my career. So, prime example, why is Conor McGregor in the Roadhouse movie? Why? They don't need Conor McGregor's name to sell the Roadhouse movie. They've just remade Roadhouse.
Yeah, I know.
People would watch it because it's Roadhouse. Okay. Yeah. Right? Now,
why do you
Conor McGregor's fight
because
it's Conor McGregor. Yeah. I could roll off 10 stunt actors that I know that could have done that role 10 times better and deserve the break that they got or they need from something like that.
That's what they do for a living. Yeah.
Conor McGregor, I'd never get in an octagon with him. I'd certainly go toe to toe with him on a stage, acting though. Yeah. You know, probably because they were too. What did you think? The director was too scared to tell him.
What did you think of his role then?
It was awful.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
I liked it. I liked it. Well, I'm not looking at it for the critical eye.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I liked it.
Everything about his screen acting performance was just wrong.
Okay.
You know, and it's not to be. I'm not saying that he can't do it. There's plenty of Batista, The Rock, John Cena. These are all. You know,
Batista's gone. He's good.
Yeah, he is, mate. John Cena's good as well. John Cena, he's funny, mate.
Yeah.
I met him last year, lovely bloke. Yeah. But for such a big guy, he's funny. Yeah, he is, you know. And I'm not saying that Conor McGregor can't do it, but
you think maybe it's a role? There's a role he went for. He might have got another role.
Well, no, what I personally think is, I think that no one on set had the balls to tell him.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
It's not very good, mate.
Yeah.
You know, you
this
need
way.
to do. Yeah,
You
that's
try
what I
that
think. Of course it is. Would you?
Yeah, I would.
You know,
I would.
I would have as
well.
well.
Fair enough. No, what am I talking about? It depends where you are.
I would have.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't. This is the problem with the industry. If Conor McGregor wants to be an actor, absolutely fine. Right, let him do it. He's a man that can achieve things. Right, he had nothing, became one of the, if not biggest UFC fighters out there.
Ever.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll probably become a big movie star. Right. But they didn't need him. They didn't need. They had Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I know.
Why do you need? They could have had a complete nobody in that film.
No,
right?
but, yeah.
Who was the lead star in the original Roadhouse?
Swayze, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was the name of the bad? Who was the bad guy?
I don't know.
There you go.
I
Then.
have no idea who
There you
the
go.
bad guy.
Then.
No idea who the bad guy was. No.
There you go.
No. So all they needed was Jake Gyllenhaal.
They could have just. They could.
Jake Gyllenhaal. That's it. Yeah.
People would have watched Roadhouse because Roadhouse.
We would have done the same numbers, everything. Yeah.
You know, it's not like. But this is the problem I have. I, you know, people come to me and go, "Oh yeah, we need to get you a name in your film." No, you don't.
No.
I don't care.
No.
Oh yeah, but people won't watch it. They will.
Yeah.
They'll watch it if you promote it, right?
No, even if it's good, you know the best promotion I find. I think, I don't know, I might be right, I might be wrong. What the best promotion is?
Go on.
Word of mouth.
Oh, what? Yeah.
I'm serious. I got so much stuff in my watch list. The only things I actually watch now are like things that people tell me, like, have you seen that show? No, I ain't seen it.
But it's just old school promotion. We didn't have social media back in the day.
No, word of mouth.
We knew of a film because there was a poster.
Oh,
or you'd
true.
go watch another
True,
film.
true.
Or do you remember when they used to have the trailers on VCRs? You'd get a film on a VCR, you'd watch it, and there'd be 20 minutes of trailers of films, and you go,
like a cinema.
yeah. That's the word of mouth, you know. Oh, have you gone and seen that? No.
Yeah, no.
Like I said, people said it to me. Oh yeah, you've got to get a name star, and then they come out with someone on TikTok, and I'm like, who?
Yeah.
But they can't act. Oh yeah, but they've got 100,000 viewers. I don't care.
But as a business, but as a business, you have to understand where they're coming from.
I understand.
As a business, like people just want to get numbers and get views.
Yeah, I do understand, but that's the problem. Because the demographic of that person's audience might not care about what my film's about or what I'm writing. Yeah. I know the people I'm aiming my movies at. Every script I write, I know the people they're going at. You can't get everyone. That's difficult. There's not many movies out there that can. And if you do, you get the women on board, mate. Men follow. Yeah, right? Facts. And how long have nightclubs been doing stuff like that? Yeah, you get the women in free
before.
Men follow.
Yeah, cool.
Right. Same with you running a food business, right? If you have a food business that women will happily eat, because a lot of women are quite self-conscious when they're eating in front of people, you know. If you can get a food business that they'll eat and they'll enjoy, the men will follow, they will, right? And it's the same with films. You know? How many men do you reckon actually chose to go and watch The Notebook? None. But they went because their missus went, mate, or they were going on a date. You know. How many women go and watch Star Wars? Handful. Yeah. It's all blokes. You know. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. But people have to stay strong with it. I don't care. I'm not gonna. I know what I want. I know what I want to see. I know what I want to make. I know what I want to write. If you want to tell me to do it differently because you think that we have to put some person in it to sell, then I don't care. I'm not interested. Yeah. But that just comes from looking at people like Sylvester Stallone, you know, who wouldn't be where he was.
I think it's just you know what you want.
Yeah, I don't know.
You obviously you've written it as well.
Yeah.
So you actually literally know what you want. So
one of the hardest things is finding directors who you can trust with your material. Okay. Because you could write an amazing script, but if a director screws it up, you're done. You know. And I've recently met I met a guy a couple of years ago on a film set, and he's very, very talented. A very talented director. He's just got me on board. So he's got 50 minutes of footage for what was going to be a pilot. He wanted to do this like pilot episode, and then push for a series, pitch it as a series, and hopefully get it picked up. But he basically sat there and he was like, "This could be a film." Okay. So he contacted me and he said, "Look, I've got this. Here's the footage. Can you turn it into a film?" I was like, 100%, mate. I've scrapped about 20 minutes of the footage. We've gone back.
Of the 50?
Yeah, and we've completely rewritten it. It's called Roadman. It's a parody of gang culture. Okay. It's hilarious, mate. Okay. It is. You've just got to take the piss out of yourself. Yeah. And it's it's just completely parodying gang culture in London and in around London.
Yeah, Roadman.
And it's parodying other films, along with it, and this is a guy who's put this together with nothing, absolutely nothing, and his name's Damien Brewer, and he's going. I said to him the other day, I said, look, I trust you. Like I don't trust a lot of people because I want to direct my own stuff because of what I can see. I said, but this is your baby, mate. I will finish this for you, and I will write you a script, and that's you run with it, mate. I'll give you the ammo. You point and fire the gun, pal.
So what? You guys work in teams, then I take it. So when you watch movies, you see so Tarantino's got a team clearly, right?
All the good people have the same people around them.
Oh, okay.
I use the same cinematographer.
Yeah.
Try and use the same lighting, gaffer, sound recordist, editors, things like that. Yeah. People that I trust, people that I know
can deliver a specific product you're looking at.
Yeah. You want to be able to work with people that, if I could leave the room, they could still carry out
the quality
what I want them to do
in the way that you want.
Yeah, because they know.
Well, you can't be everywhere at once.
No.
So you need a team.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, a lot of films have like second unit directors, which go and do the stuff.
What's a second unit director?
So the second unit team will go, like, not every scene is directed by the main director, depending on the size of the film.
I didn't know that.
Depending on the size of the film. So let's just say,
sure, you might have different locations. You might have to reshoot a scene.
Is it? We're using an example. You turn a movie on, and there's an aerial shot panning across the city, okay, across the New York skyline. Christopher Nolan ain't going to direct that.
It's not. Yeah.
It's a second unit director.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So they all go out with the crew, second unit crew.
Shots and
here's your shot list.
Okay.
Go and get it. You know the style I want to do.
So
go and do it.
So there's actually a director for that.
Yes, you have a second unit. Yeah, because again, everything's money, right? So if you're going to film shots that have no lead actors in, right? You're not going to. Let's say you've got. You need to film something with supporting artists, or just like pickup shots or B-roll of buildings or the environment, and that is set in Croydon, right? Yeah. But you've got a scene in Tottenham with your lead actors, who you're paying £15 million to be there. Yeah. You're not going to shut that down
to go and film,
to send someone over to do that.
No.
So that's what will happen is, like I said, you have your second unit or your third, depending on the size of the film, third unit team, and they'll go out and they'll get all them little shots you see of the pyramids or the streets or anything that doesn't really involve the talent and the money, because that's what it is. That's the money. There's your investment. Like you can't stop that because we're paying them. We're paying them, so we need to utilize it. So that's how they do it, mate. Yeah. There's a hell of a lot that goes on to it.
Yeah,
you got to look at everything from, like I said, art directors who create continuity, and
what's continuity?
Well, so we're filming now, and let's just say we cut the camera, but I do that and we start rolling again.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Or the fact that in Die Hard, Bruce Willis's vest changes colour.
Okay.
Or in Reservoir Dogs, Harvey Keitel doesn't light a cigarette, but he smokes it, and it's unlit.
Yeah, I love cigarettes. I love when cigarettes. Continuity is long cigarette, short cigarette. Yeah. Long cigarette, short, or haircuts. Yeah. Line goes missing. You know what I mean?
That's why people don't want to use them. There's something done recently.
Also, the people that do that, so they're not in the industry. So what's the worst continuity you've seen? I got one in my mind, and this one is
the worst continuity I've seen.
Disgusting. It still went out. It had to go out because it was.
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't really say. I mean,
I'll tell you one.
But I mean, Die Hard's pretty bad with the colour of his vest changing.
There's one worse than that.
What's that?
Gladiator. It was a plane in the sky.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know about it, but I don't think I've ever.
The Colosseum. There's a plane in the sky. That's bad.
Oh, I think there was one. There was a British film a few years ago. I can't remember what it was, but it was set in like the 60s, And when they panned across the housing estate, there were sky dishes.
Oh wow!
On the house.
Oh, wow.
That was quite funny.
That's bad.
They obviously couldn't afford to edit them out.
No. Or find a location without sky dishes.
But them people they're indispensable. You know,
what do you mean indispensable?
You can't do it without them, mate.
Oh, okay.
You know, they run around. They have their iPads. They've got the boom. They take photos. Boom. Don't move. Boom.
Yeah.
Right, now you can move. And then you go to reset the shot, and they're like, you were there. That was there. That was there.
Wow.
You know, and then like I said, who wants to work with cigarettes because they burn? Yeah, there's something done recently. I can't remember the name, but I remember I watched the interview with the cinematographer about it. And it was set in, I don't know, 1600s or something. So for authenticity, they lit the entire castle with candles. Hundreds of thousands of candles, right? But they had to manufacture candles that burnt slower and all produced the same amount of light.
Oh,
now, in between shots, they had a team of people having to go round and replicate how the candle, the height of the wax, the whip, boom. Thousands of them, mate. Thousands.
That's crazy.
Now, if someone was coming to you and saying, I want some money to make a movie, but we need to shoot in a castle with 10,000 candles, and you go, how much is that going to cost? Well, no, 2 million quid. You go, what?
How much is that movie going to make me? Let me read the script.
Yeah. So I said, don't work with kids. It costs too much money. Licenses, chaperones. They can only work for a certain amount of time. You know,
you can only talk to a certain
difficult.
way. You can only speak a certain. You can't be like, fucking
yeah. Well, I mean, unless you're Dan Schneider working on the Nickelodeon show. But yeah, you know, there's so many things, and this is what
and animals, right?
Animals. Yeah, this is what you have to look at as an up and coming filmmaker, because you know, and I can control this as a writer. I you know, I'm not writing movies with spaceships in them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I also try and you know, veer away from like firearms and car crashes, anything to do with vehicles, anything that moves, anything outside. Costs money, and you can't control it.
No, you can't. No,
I can control the lighting in a warehouse. Can't control it.
No.
I turned up here, it was sunny.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
By the time we come in, it was like a tropical storm.
Car crash on the way in.
Yeah.
Same
with you know, people put in scripts. Sunset. What are you doing? How long is a sunset? How can you film?
Yeah.
You could end up spending a week
filming a sunset,
getting 10 seconds
and
of footage,
trying to get the same consistency of sunset, same location. But like, you know what I mean?
This is where things like CGI and green screens come into it, and into a lot now. But you know, you've got to respect people like Christopher Nolan that are like, no, practical effects.
What do you mean?
Well, he doesn't use CGI, does he?
Okay.
If he's blowing something up, he's blowing it up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's no CGI in his movies. So
That's
all them
crazy.
Batman stuff, it's all we're gonna flip a car here. We're not gonna we're not
built set.
Yeah. Old school, real practical. And I mean, it's great because it looks 10 times better. But you know, you got to be Christopher Nolan to pull that off, because there ain't no studio in the world that's going, well, we could pay a CGI guy 25 grand, or we could spend £2 million
to blow this up,
blowing up cars.
Yeah.
You know, but it looks better. Yeah, well, we don't really care about that. We just want
It's
people
money.
to come and watch the
Return,
movie.
Return, yeah.
You know, and he's Christopher Nolan's a prime example. He's not a screenwriter, but he just wrote. He had to become a director because no one will give him a chance. So he wrote a movie.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of that, though.
Yeah.
You got to build your own table, man.
Yeah, he wrote.
You know,
wrote a
you
movie.
can't expect to get put. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wrote a movie, directed it, and now look where he is. One of the biggest filmmakers in the world.
Which movie did he write?
I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
I've got no interest in it, mate.
No, I'm going to check.
It was probably 1998 or something. It was in the late 90s. He wrote this movie, filmed it all on his own. You know, Robert Rodriguez. So obviously, you know, Robert Rodriguez, you know, who directed Dusk Till Dawn, obviously written by Quentin Tarantino. He made his first film, El Mariachi, $7,000. $7,000 he spent on that, and he made a feature film which spawned 2 sequels with Antonio Banderas, right, and a career of filmmaking, right. I mean, admittedly, he did like the Spy Kid films, didn't he? Which was a little bit off.
He wanted the bag. He just wanted the money.
Yeah,
you know,
but you know, that is, and you got to think, right. The digital age, which we're in the digital age. Okay, we're filming these on DSLRs and stuff like that. Great for filmmaking. Bad for filmmaking.
Go on.
Anyone can make a movie. anyone can make a movie.
Yeah, anyone can make a movie. Yeah.
But anyone can make a movie.
Yeah, I get it.
And put it on Amazon Prime and call themselves a movie star and
Yeah,
a director. And unfortunately,
but where's it gonna go? That's the thing, you know what I mean?
well, but that's
You know what I mean? Anyone can.
but this is where you go back into the industry of why we're losing money, because gaining investment at a lower level usually comes from friends and family, or someone who's really good at blagging. Right now, I know people that have pumped 200, 300, 400, 500K into films on a great idea, but they don't know what a good script looks like. Okay. But they've been sold the idea by the person sat across the table from them. Yeah, bruv, look, it's going to look like this. Right? I'm going to be the next Guy Ritchie, but it's going to be the next Rise of the Foot Soldier. And then it's just it's all done with fantasists. They're fantasists. That's all they are. Yeah, I go back to me, so called. I'm not saying I'm any better, but I would rather I film stuff and it's bad. I ain't going to see a lot of day, mate, because I've got pride in that. You know, I want people to have a good product. I want to make a good product.
You want to make a good name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not making a car.
I'm
not making a car where one of the wheels falls off after down a journey. You know. Now you go back to Archie, right? On the digital cameras, mate. He spent that entire $7,000 on film. Right? There was no formatting SD cards. No. If you didn't get the footage,
it was gone.
You had to record it again and again and again. And you had to know how to do that with a camera and develop it. And Tarantino's still doing that.
Oh, wow.
He's, what's it called? The one that's set in the cabin. Oh, my God, how do I not know the name of this? My head's gone.
Was it horror?
No, it's a cowboy film. Hateful Eight.
Yeah. Lovely film.
Filmed on like 35mm Panavision, mate.
Oh, wow.
They were like, no one's filming this in years, mate. What are we going to do? And they had to go out and like modify cameras and shit like that just to do it, you know. But he's like, nah. He's like, it looks better. It's great. It's real cinema. Yeah. You know, he does it with the New Beverly Theatre. He shows these films in 35mm and stuff like that. Old school film, mate. Old school film. But back then, you know, you were only going to make it in this industry if you knew what you was doing, and you had real talent, you'd learn. Yeah. You know, editing now, you do it on a little computer.
I edit.
Yeah, but that's what I do as well. I do it on my phone.
I don't have a clue about editing.
I edit stuff on my phone.
Okay.
But in 1995. Or 1990 or 85.
A studio or suite, huh?
You weren't doing that, mate.
No, you have to have an editing suite. Yeah. A full desk and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like Abbey Road or something.
Yeah, correct.
You know, you know, so it's great because there's so many talented people that 30 years ago wouldn't have been able to break in the industry because they wouldn't have known where to start or how to operate a camera or pay to go to film school, right? So it's great in that aspect because you can go out, you can buy a second-hand Canon DSLR camera with a couple of lenses, right? You can get a shotgun Rode mic. There are other brands out there. And you can go and make a movie, right? And it spawns some real talent, right? But there are people out there, a lot of frauds in this industry, a lot of frauds in this industry, and I've come across a hell of a lot of them asking me to review their shit on the Amazon. I'll go and review my movie, mate. Oh, please give it 10 stars, 5 stars, or whatever. It's dog shit. No. Yeah. You know, and you know, like, you know, IMDb. IMDb. You know, you can just add your credits to any film. Unless someone from the production company picks that up
and says he wasn't in that film.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I could go on to IMDb.
Nice.
I could go on to IMDb and put that I was in Goodfellas. Okay. Unless someone picks up on it, or IMDb go, this looks a bit suspicious. Yeah. There's people out there in this industry doing that.
Oh wow.
And then they're going to investors. Oh, I've had 300 credited roles, and they're going, oh, you was in an Avengers film. Oh, you was in Batman. You was in The Dark Knight. Oh, you was in Legend. You was in that. And they're going, yeah, I've got, you know, I'm big. I've got, look at all my followers on Instagram, 300,000 purchased followers.
Yeah.
And then you've got this person who's got money and loves film and wants to make films, going, oh, this is the man. This is the guy I need to work with. There's the money. Yeah. And then they're just frauds, and they go out and they make a movie on a cheap digital camera, which isn't cinematic quality, and then they pump it on broadcasting streaming sites because it's not difficult. You've only got to send it to Amazon. They don't buy everything they show.
No.
You've only got to send it to them, you know, and they'll go, yeah, cool, put it on, boom, free, or do you want to set a price for it? You know, that's the problem with the digital world in filmmaking. Anyone can do it, absolutely anyone, and it goes back to why I will always use other people when it comes to that, because I've got no interest.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Absolutely
if I want to build
no
a house,
interest.
I'm going to try and build it myself. I don't know fuck all about building a house.
Probably could. Probably take us 10, 15, 20 years to do it.
It'll fall down.
And it'll
cost
lead.
an arm and a leg as well,
to redo it all, yeah.
exactly.
But, you know, this is unfortunately what...
You're going to see a master builder.
Sometimes it's difficult to succeed in this industry if you want to keep your integrity. Don't sell your soul.
I think in most industries, probably the same. Yeah,
100%.
You know
100%. I'll tell you a story about it, the music industry. So, I worked with a quite high-profile singer who has a lot of negative press about them in the last couple of years. Really, really bad. Really bad. Like, it's disgusting. They've come out on multiple occasions and said that, you know, that they're sober and they don't drink and they don't do drugs and stuff like that. And the truth of the matter is that the record label is just a puppeteer, mate. They make so much money for the record label that they don't say no. You do whatever you want to do, right? We'll ply you with drink and drugs, give you a driver. You don't have to be sober. You've got a driver. Anywhere you want to go. You get the top suites in the hotels. They're doing drugs, smoking in these rooms. If that was me and you, mate, we would kick straight out.
Yeah, done, yeah.
Smoking a cigarette or a joint in a suite in a hotel, we kick straight out,
done,
right?
Yeah.
Hotel turn a blind eye to it. You know, they open the paper or they open Twitter and they see shit about them, and they turn around to their industry, the handlers or whatnot, and they say, oh, you know, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Oh, no, it's really good. It's really good. Don't believe it. They're just haters. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And then what will happen is their songs will stop selling. Music changes. They get left behind. Yeah, facts. And they die, or they fall into obscurity. There's so many albums. So many. Look at Brian Harvey from East 17. You know, guy was on top of the world. Absolutely on top of the world. But now he don't make money for anyone, so no one cares. Now the guy's out, you know, punching up. I think he had a fight in a job centre or something recently.
Oh wow!
You know, he's obviously on social media releasing videos. You know, but no one cares because he's not making them any money.
And that generation, our generation's gone. Yeah. So people nowadays have no idea who he was.
Yeah, no, they just think he's some
random guy,
just some lunatic on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, exactly. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard about him for 20 odd years, and now I keep seeing all this stuff about him. And that's what the industry does to you. You know, and the film's the same. There's so many people out there that as soon as you stop earning people money, you're forgotten about.
It's that age-old saying, it's the price of fame, isn't
it? Yeah.
If you want fame, then not saying you have to do that. Yeah. But if, like you said, if you want to keep your integrity, then it's a longer path, isn't it?
It's another reason why I gave up acting, because I can write for the rest of my life and no one know who I am.
Very true.
You know, I could live I could have the financial rewards from it, and no one know who I am.
Drama, yeah.
If the writer of Peaky Blinders walked in here now, would you know who he is?
No idea. I haven't even checked.
And I can tell you now,
who he was.
His kids ain't going to starve, are they? He's not going to lose his house or fail to pay his mortgage. No. Stephen Knight, mate. That's who it is. Stephen Knight.
Okay.
You know, but you wouldn't know him.
No.
You wouldn't. You could be sat next to him on a bus.
Yeah,
or a plane.
No idea. No, not so when I found him now, like I know the name. I said, okay, that's him. Then I recognize him. Apart from that, no.
Yeah, no idea. And that's you know, some people love the fame, but like I said, with working in private security, it's not good.
The fame is always fickle, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
The fame is fickle. The background.
They gravitate around to you because they think you can get something, or you're going to pay for something, or you know, they can get into events and you know, you can get me here, or you can get me in a movie. That's another one. Get me in a movie, mate. I ain't got no pulling pay. I know people making films. I can't get you in any of them. I can ask, but I can't make.
Well, what would I got ask in the first place?
I can't make demands.
Why don't you audition and get the role?
Mate, I get stuff. I get people message me. I mean, I've got like 700 followers on my Instagram. I ain't nobody.
Yeah.
I get people messaging me all the time. Carl, can you do this? Can you do that? Oh, you know, and I can tell you now, mate. I'm not surprised people get taken advantage of.
That's what I mean.
Because
so
people are desperate.
They'll do whatever
desperate.
to get that. Yeah,
People are desperate
in the
for
film
fame.
or in music.
Yeah,
in most things, probably. You know, fairness.
yeah. People that have got IMDb Pro can find out your contact details if you put them on there. Okay, they can find out if you've got an agent, a manager, things like that. And I get emails all the time. Oh, I see you've got this film. You know, I'd be great for this, and and I just look at it and I'm like, okay, I understand the hustle. Fair play for having the balls to do
correct,
that.
Yeah, it's a profit,
you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you know, you've also got to sort of read the room, and especially when it comes to like, like I've put out castings before on Facebook. I don't like doing it because it's just, again, it's 50,000 people and maybe 2,000 of them have actually ever worked in the industry. And you put castings out, and other people do as well, and it'll be like, looking for 20-year-old Japanese man. And then they've got 150 messages of everyone but a Japanese man. Yeah, I'm available. You
might change your mind and change the character.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ! If you can't even answer a casting properly, how are you going to work on a film set?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's a crazy world, mate. But I love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it, man. I'm a fan of it.
I love it, mate. I love it. But we can change it. I can change. The things in the look. If I ever got, you look at all the hearsay, didn't you? You see the things going on in the world, and let's say we go back to people like Tom Cruise, and these like movie elite, like the movie royalty, isn't they? Right? If Tom Cruise could walk into Skydance and go, right, I want to make a film about a goat who goes to space, and they go, okay, boom, there's $200 million, right? It'll be great, And you obviously you think of what they've been through to get there. We hear all the stories with some of these, and I would love to be able to able to change. To be able to get into a position, but what I can change now is the independent side of it. Okay, the independent movie business, especially in the UK, is on its arse. No one wants to invest. No one wants to pay. Everyone collaboration. That's their favourite word. Collaboration.
What do they mean?
Well, they want you to work for free. I'll give you a credit. Oh, great. Whoop-de-doo. I really want to, because my name...
Okay, so if I've got a movie I want to make, basically...
Yeah, collaborate with me.
Collaborate with me.
Instead
of me saying, I got a budget, what do you want?
Yeah, collaborate with me. But you'll get a credit. Great, because my name on a screen is going to benefit my career massively, mate, isn't it? They love that word, collaborate. People not wanting to pay the right, people not even paying minimum wage, mate. They're putting jobs out there, and lucky a lot of them get called out, and people say, there's minimum wage, like you have to pay. And yeah, it's look, don't get me wrong, I've had people work for free for me, but I mean, we're talking like half a day on something that they've asked to do. And yes, there might not have been the budget there to pay them, but then if they really didn't want to do it, I'd have just cut out what they were doing. I've worked for free. That's
what I was gonna say.
Worked for free for a decade,
It's
mate.
dedication, isn't it? Like, if you believe in a project,
my face has been on the cinema screen. I don't get paid a penny for it.
No,
not a penny, mate.
What are you in?
I won't say.
You don't say.
I
Say no more.
It's not bad. I just don't. I don't want to make it out that I'm trying to live off this.
Yeah.
I was a supporting artist in a film for 6 seconds recently, right? You see my face in one shot, and then you see my left ear in the other shot. I didn't get any lines. Could have got more. It wasn't planned. I was invited to set. Right, I turned up. They were like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "I don't know." One of the producers invited me. They stuck me in the room with all the supporting artists. Took my phone away from me. I'm like, "What are we doing?" So I went out to the girl and I said, "They're two separate nightclubs. One they were filming in, one when they kept all supporting artists, right?" I said to the girl, I said, "I need my phone." She said, "You can't have your phone." I said, "I'm going. I want my phone." Okay, so she gives me my phone. So I walk down this back alley. I come out to the back door down the clock, a big security guard. Know how to deal with these people. I just went, "Oh, hello, mate." I went, "Is the cameras rolling? They still shooting?" And he went, No, they finished. I went, "Oh, wicked." I said, "I just need to go and pop in and see someone." They went, "Yeah, no worries." Boom. I walked straight in. right?
On set.
Yeah, walked straight in,
Wow.
right? I walked over to the table where the lead actor was, who I've met before, and I said, "Hello, mate. Do you remember me?" And he was like, "Oh, not really." And I said, "We did this." Da-da-da-da-da. He was like, "Yeah, cool." And I sat at the monitors with the script supervisor and the director for the entirety of the time they filming for the next 3 days.
Oh, wow.
I made more contacts out of that than I've ever done in my life.
So is that a case?
And then they just literally went, someone from wardrobe come over and went, "Are you in it?" And I went, "Nah, I'm just here as a guest." And they went, "Well, you." They went, "Oh, you could be a bouncer." And I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, come on, we got a suit." And they put me in a suit, and then I was there for 3 days. Every day, I turned up. I say after they wanted me to be in it, I turned up. I got this suit on, sat there. I was in it on the last shot of the last day they were there. 11:59 at night, they shot it, mate, and I was getting there at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I met so many people that I knew I'd met before, or we'd met in the past, or I met new people, introduced them to me. So one of them, who I had a really good chat with, is Michael Vu. So the film was Some Otherhood. Okay, you know,
Okay.
Anotherhood, Some Otherhood.
Yeah.
Obviously, Michael Vu's one of the writers.
Okay.
Now he was in the first one, Michael Vu, and I rated him. I was a quality actor, great, and he turned up on set, and I was like, obviously, because I was where I was sat with the directors, and Adam was directing it as well, with assistant directors and that. So I was all chatting to him, and I met Michael Vu, and I introduced myself, and I said, "Look, I said, you great inspiration, mate. Like, really liked Anotherhood. I liked, looking forward to see where this goes." I said, "Where you been for 12 years, mate?" I was like, "You were a really good actor." And he said, "Oh, I don't want to act." He said, "I didn't want to act, and we couldn't find a Chinese guy, and obviously the character was Chinese, and I'm not sure if Michael's Chinese, but he's Asian, and he's like, so we just ended up casting myself." And I said, "Mate, you did a really good job. I thought you were great." And he went, "Yeah, no, thanks and that." And we had a good chat about where he's been in the decade and what he's been doing with his life, and why he sort of had this film, and then nothing in between. It's no one else's business what we spoke about, and really, really good guy. And he's just got a lead role in The Gentleman. He plays Jimmy Chang. Have you seen The Gentleman yet?
Well, the series.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He's Jimmy.
Yeah,
he's
what am I
Jimmy
talking
Chang, the
about?
guy that loses the van.
Yeah.
He's Jimmy Chang, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed that, bro. He killed that, bro.
He's such a quality. I can slate the industry as much as I want, but there's some real genuine people out there, mate.
Yeah.
He's genuine. Yeah. He's a genuine guy. A lot of people are in Some Otherhood that are genuine. And there's a couple out there that know that they ain't genuine, and
That's why I come back to the Pareto principle.
Yeah.
I think 20 out of the 100 people you meet, 20 of those people are decent people.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's just siphoning it out and getting rid of the 80. Yeah, as quick as you can.
There's a lot of decent people in the industry, and again, it's just I talk about you gravitate to them. So like, I remember I said that guy on Twitter introduced me to Adrian's company, and then obviously I met Adrian, and then I was at Glastonbury doing spoken word, and then I finished, and then this guy called me over, and it was the dude from Twitter, and he'd come to watch me at Glastonbury Festival. Turns out he's a composer, but at the time he was using music to help people with disabilities. So he was, doing like music classes for like adults with disabilities, and that's such a great bloke. Reg Length, it's not his real name, but he's a. And I said to him why, and he went, "Because I wear regular length trousers, Reg Length, right?" And then like I met Adrian, and then like me and Adrian sort of worked on and off. Adrian's he's like a tough love, very wise big brother as such. He's a very good friend of mine. But if I need something or I need advice, he'll give it to me. But certain things, it's very much like, if he knows I'm capable of doing it, he's like, "You need to find your own way to do this.
Okay.
You're the writer or whatnot. You need to find your own way. My way's my way. You don't want to be me. You're not Adrian Scott. You're Archie Wick."
Yeah.
And again, we've known each other for, God, 13, about 12 years, maybe, I think, 12 years. And we're only now just writing a film together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He should have started today because I paid him last night. Because that's what it's about. Right? That's what it's about.
Correct, yeah.
But then he introduced me. He invited me on a film set. Okay. As a guest, I turn up. We need an actor. Someone's not turned up. He'll do it. Oh, my agent. I had a 7-year hiatus. I had a really bad relationship. Confidence was shattered. I never wanted to stand in front of a camera ever again.
Okay.
I wouldn't have even come done something like this. Okay. Again, I was away from London. I come back to London. Adrian knew this, and he was making real passive-aggressive suggestions. So he would like upload a photo of me on a film set 10 years ago and tag me on social media, right? Yeah. And he kept doing it, and he kept saying, and then he invited me to this set, and then he's like, boom, we need an actor, he'll do it. And I'm like, no. And they're like, no, it's your forensics officer. So I've got the suit and the mask on, right, and the gloves. So you can't see, obviously, because I'm like, it's quite recognisable. So I do this thing as a forensic officer. We do the scenes, and then it, kind of near the end of the day, again, mate, independent film, it's so many people want to be actors. You give them a chance, they never turn up. Like, you're getting, like, you know.
Not just acting, but anything.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, mate.
And when you said to me, I'm early, I feel bad because I'm
always early, mate.
I'm normally early.
I've got to have a plan. I've got to know what I'm doing. I'm always early.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, we need these henchmen tomorrow. And again, the people have cancelled. He'll do it. And they were like, they were like, why he's just been in that scene? I went, no, I had my face covered. And all my hands, right? You can't
tell,
So all you could see was that, right? And they were like, okay, yeah, go on then, so turn up, come back tomorrow. Here's the address. I turn up, and that's where I met Yao.
Okay.
And the scene, we were beating him up and stealing his Range Rover.
Okay.
Right. So I met Yao, and like the fight choreographer was like, right, let's go outside and practice. So we're in the middle of the road, right? And there's me, and some other guys. One of them's a bodybuilder, and I think his heritage is Samoan. So you can imagine how big he is anyway. He's a good 6'5" lump, head to way more tattoos than me. Absolute, like his chest is bigger than my head, like one peck, right? And then there's another guy. Again, he's just an absolute unit, 6'5". I was the smallest one out of all of them, and I'm not little. And we're choreographing this scene, and we've got Yao bent over the bonnet, and we're giving him all that. Next thing, woo, right, old Bill, all right, they come hurting him down the street, pulls up, passenger, copper. He looks, right, he goes to get out of the car. He sees 3 absolute units, and Yao's not a little guy either, right? Holding this guy down, and he opened the door and he closed it. And he wound the window down by about 1 inch, and he went, "You all right?" And we were like, "Yeah, we're filming, mate." And they were like, "There's no cameras." And we're like, "Oh, it's just rehearsal." We had to give them the script and all that. And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, cool, no worries." Off they went. And then we get to the set. But again, it's on broad daylight, right? It's under a train bridge. And we're dragging Yao across the street, right? And he's all got bloodied, and we're carrying him. We pin him up against a wall, and we're battering him. Next thing, old Bill, right? But it's the same copper, but she's on her own now, right? And she pulls out like that. She's going, oh, yeah. And she went on the window. She went, I thought it was you, twats. And she just drove off. But that's how I met Yao.
Okay.
And then, because I got Yao down to the set, some other hood, and again he was in it for like 0.3 of a second. If you don't know where he's going to be, you're not going to see him. Same with me, and then he got me obviously on Absent, his project, and where he's taken that, and that's another thing. Like again with like Absent, I invested money into that, and obviously I was in it as well, but it's his baby. And where he wants to take that is where he wants to take that. Now, I've got no, I'm not care. Like, I put money into it, but I put money into it because I wanted to help the guy out. Yeah. He's a nice guy who's trying to,
you see where he's going with it.
Yeah, but he wanted to make something.
Exactly.
you know. And at the time, I was like, yeah, I've got some money I can put into this, because he asked me to be in it way before. He never asked me for money. That was me. I said, I'll give you some money. I'll put some money into this. And you know, and you know, again, like you said, in the real world, you know, executive producers could come in and go, no, you ain't doing that. I'll put money into this, but that's his baby, man. Let him develop it and let him do what he wants to do with it.
Creative control, everything on it.
Yeah, he can. Yao can do. You know, he knows what he wants, right? He knows what he wants to do. He's a good actor. He's a good actor. But it's just nice to see these people go somewhere and do something. Though it's the doing it, it's the graft, it's the getting up and actually doing it. Yeah. You know, because he could have not. It wasn't easy. You know, it wasn't easy, and he knows this. And he's for a first time film. You know, he made it hard by the script, because we had kids and cars and multiple locations. Correct, stuff I've said, you know, come on, bro, this is low budget. Like, you know, I wouldn't dare do that. But, you know, he pulled it off. And he made, you know, for the budget and the problem we had with casting, you know, one day, he didn't go too much into it, but one day we had no one turn up apart from the lead actors. We had to film an entire nightclub scene. So we had a club. We had the crew, not a single supporting artist turned up, mate. So it's an entire
other nightclub
for the patrons for the nightclub, yeah, not a single one. So that was an entire day of money. We should have just flushed down the toilet, mate, because no one turned up. And then we had to go on this massive recruitment, and they were all people that were you know, wanted to be in something. Wanted to help a friend out, and not a single one turned up. Yeah, that's crazy. But it's you know, it's
nobody's gonna see the importance of what you're doing, innit?
No, it's but you've got that's why it's not their money. Ain't their money. Why do they care?
They probably don't even see it as money.
But that's why you've got to go down a professional route with a lot of this stuff. Yeah. You know, you can call as many friends as you want, but they've got no hold. They're not going to be there. But if you go down the route of using proper supporting artists and actors and paying them and things like that, then
basically that old saying, you pay for what you get. Basically.
Yeah. And if I'm paying someone to do a job, they've got a job to do. If they're there for me on a favour, they can put down their coat and walk off whenever they want. Yeah. And then what's going to happen? I'm screwed. And you probably ruin a friendship that you might have with someone. You know, I like to make friends and keep in touch with everyone I work with, but when it comes down to it, we've got a professional relationship. When we're on a set, we're on a set. This is money, this is time. You know, I've had this with actors before that I've had to pull off and speak to them and say, look, you know, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting my time and your time. Like, you know, I don't care if you think we're mates.
Business.
Like, it's people, it's business,
but it's not even nice your name, isn't it?
Well,
it's your name, because like, you're known for who you are. So if you're a person that turns up late every minute and you don't turn up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got 2 now short films that we did last year, and I don't even know when they're going to come out because we're not ready for it.
What do you mean?
You know, we're just not ready. It's not finished. We're not happy. I'd rather them never come out than put something out there that I'm not happy with.
So what do you mean, the edit or the film?
No, edit. Yeah, things like just going on with the edit and stuff like that, and you know, the soundtrack and. You know, and they're all done. Again, it's not something, you know, short films. It doesn't benefit my career. It's fun to do, but there's no real benefit behind it. You know, again, they were paid, but they were done for like favours. You know, funny enough, one of them's called The Favour. I wrote a script for someone as a favour, and I ended up calling it The Favour. But you know, we paid. It was all paid. You know, cast and crew and actors and things like that. But yeah, you know, until we're sort of happy with the end goal, it can stay there. But this is what happens with film. Yeah. You know, I know what I've got going on, right? What I can talk about, what I can't. But, you know, so like I've had acting jobs and roles in the past, and you tell people, and then you see them like 18 months later, and they're like, "Oh, where's this film?" Yeah, you're just a liar. And you're like, no. It takes
time. Yeah. It's not
we shot some other hood in like 2021. Yeah. And it came out the end of last year. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and people are like, "Oh, you were never on that set. Where's the film?" Like, no, that stuff takes like time, it's not. You can't become an overnight success. I mean, financially you could, but fame, you know, you look at all these actors that you think become famous overnight. Dude's been making movies for 10 years.
10, 20 years. Yeah.
You know,
the film that blew up was filmed 5 years ago.
You know, look at the when like, you know, when they redid the Star Wars with John Boyega and that Daisy girl and that, you know, they knew they'd been cast like 3 years before.
Wow.
Something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine being like sat around your mates being like,
yeah, true.
I'm going to be in Star Wars, bro. But you can't say anything, you know. And this is the same with this industry. Is like, I don't care if I become a household name. It doesn't bother me. You know, people can call me liars and can say I'm making it up and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. But that's because, you know, not everything is credited. Right?
Yeah, I found about that recently. Yeah, not everything. That you don't get. I was speaking to somebody else who's in the business, and he was like, "Yeah, he did a certain movie, but I didn't get credit for that." I was, what do you mean you didn't get credit for it? He goes, I'm chasing it now, but I wasn't credited. And I was like, you got to chase the production company, right?
Yeah.
So then give him his credit.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can. Yeah, if they haven't put it on the credits at the end of the film, then that's bad. But when it comes to like IMDb,
I don't know what you meant.
IMDb, you can go and add yourself. Just like I said earlier, you can add yourself on anything.
I'm sure I asked him that. I'm sure I asked him that.
I don't know. But if they don't,
I don't know what you meant.
They can take it off. They can 100% take it off. Off of IMDb, because you'll generally get a notification if it's your project saying, "Oh, such and such has
added to the project,
amended your."
But imagine those multi-million-pound films. How you can't keep track of everything.
Oh, no, of course they can't. No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. And I said, I know people that think they're someone and they've credited themselves on movies which they've never even been there.
Wow, that's crazy.
And yeah, you know, again, as I say, I know a lot of people and I talk to them, but you know, to get the pulling power in this industry is where it's at, and for that, it's all about money. It's all about money. You know, Oren Peli made Paranormal Activity, I don't know, for 60 grand.
You serious?
Then he got some. He showed it at a film festival, and it was Blumhouse. I can't remember his first name now. The guy that now owns like Blumhouse Productions. He was like a small time executive assistant, and he managed to get a screening together for Paranormal Activity, and he got all these executives in, and they all came and watched it, and then they were like, a couple were like, yeah, it's really good, but you know, we can't put this in the cinema because it needs some work. And then I think they gave him like another 200 grand. They reshot some of it, and it spawned $1 billion franchise. So that's business, mate. That's business.
Well, those things happening are few and far between.
Yeah, Terminator's a low budget film. RoboCop's a low budget film.
No, but again, the 90s and 2000s, different war games where we are now. Yeah. I think the ratio of that happening is going to be a lot slimmer now, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's. But then if you look at it, it is few and far between that these filmmakers make it. You probably have one or two a decade. Okay, so
no, but the 90s were
so the 90s, yeah, but you know, Tarantino reintroduced the world to violence. Okay, and that was difficult. That was a brave move, but you know, again, he had 10 years of nothing. You know, and then you look at how many films came out in and around Reservoir Dogs that have his name attached to, that he wrote. So, Reservoir Dogs, Natural Born Killers.
Oh, he wrote that?
True Romance.
Oh, wow.
They're all Tarantino scripts.
He wrote them? Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it.
True Romance... Was it True Romance?
Yeah, with the
one of them. It's either True Romance or Natural Born Killers. I can't remember. He gave that script to. I think it's True Romance. I might be wrong, but George Avery. I'm sure it was True Romance. He gave that script to George Avery because George Avery helped him write Pulp Fiction.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then Dusk Till Dawn's Tarantino.
That's crazy.
Just didn't direct it. You know, and then obviously
this guy's an absolute genius, isn't he?
Yeah.
You got to think about like, you can give away scripts like that.
Yeah, well,
True Romance is a classic.
But that was his currency because he had nothing else to offer. He had no money. I watched an interview with him. He said something. He'd never earned more than $11,000 a year until he got his Reservoir Dogs.
It was all passion.
And Pulp Fiction.
It was all passion.
Yeah.
But he'd written them way before. they came out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. We've been working on things for like
So
10
it was all
years.
passion,
Yeah.
all passion.
But you look, but then like I said, so you get these sort of filmmakers that like, again, like Robert Rodriguez, Tarantino, George Avery, come from absolutely nothing. George Avery and Tarantino worked in a video rental store together. And then obviously, the 90s spawned Guy Ritchie. And Guy Ritchie was a runner and then directed some music videos and then saved up some money and he made a film called The Hard Case. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a 30-minute short film called The Hard Case. And then that spawned the script for Lock, Stock, which he wrote and was picked up. And funny enough, one of the people that got that film made was Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise had a massive influence in Lock, Stock getting the funding.
Did he?
Yeah, but also with Lock, Stock, I don't know the figures, but they had something like £7 million budget, and then a few months, maybe weeks before the production, I think they lost like £5 million. Oh
wow!
That's why something like 20 actors in Lock, Stock are complete unknowns. Yeah, if you actually go up and look at the guys that are in Lock, Stock, most of them had never been in a movie before. Yeah. Obviously, Vinnie Jones, Jason Statham, Stephen Graham was in The Hard Case, but Stephen Graham was in Snatch. He was in The Hard Case, but didn't actually know. Guy Ritchie didn't remember him because it was like a really short scene that he was in, and obviously it was like I don't know 5, 6, 7, 8 years before or something. But yeah, again, that's a Lock, Stock, but that's just that's people believing in you and actually following the script, not thinking about money.
I think you got to believe in the project.
Yeah,
I think when you get the people on board, if it's crap, if it's a good script and a good project, if they believe in it, because another low budget film is Friday. You watch Friday?
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
2 million or 1 million budget, something silly like that. You know what I mean? Like,
written by a guy who never written a film in his life. Great rapper.
No, two of them did. The guy called DJ Pooh. So it's him and a guy called DJ Pooh.
Right.
Yeah. I think he was a producer / DJ.
Yeah.
And they sat down and wrote a film. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna ask you a question. I asked Yao and Adrian before we wrap up. I can't remember if I asked for 3 or 5 with them, but I'm gonna ask you for 5. Top 5 films. 5 is easier. If any
of these are out of the 80s, I'll be surprised. Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball in there and say Breakfast at Tiffany's. Okay. Ignoring the extremely racist portrayal of a Japanese man that's in it. Okay, ignoring that, but yeah.
But if you look at the era.
But yeah, well, this is what I mean.
If you keep it in the era it was in.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, Breakfast at Tiffany's. I just think the portrayal of that is I just something about her character just resonates with me. Field of Dreams.
Okay.
How many were going for? 4 or 5?
5.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's hard, isn't it?
Breakfast at Tiffany's, Field of Dreams, Top Gun. I'm going to say Ghostbusters.
Okay. Which one? Original?
1.
First? 1?
1. Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah.
Mr. Stay Puft. And then... Oh, this is difficult. Yeah, I'm going to struggle. on a 5th. Yeah, I think them I would...
We'll leave it at 4.
I think them would say... I mean, I respect the Tarantino's work.
Not in your top 5?
It's not that I wouldn't... I'm talking about... My top 5 will films that influence me.
Okay.
And it's childhood. I mean, not Breakfast at Tiffany's so much, but the like Field of Dreams and films Top Gun and the Ghostbusters. No, I'm going to go Michael Keaton Batman. Of course, the first one. Yeah.
That's my favorite. I'm not going to lie, that's my favorite Batman.
I can watch that.
That's my Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight.
My dad went to school
Yeah.
with the costume designer Bob Ringwood.
Okay.
Of that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you another fun fact, which I forgot. My granddad is childhood friends Richard Burton.
Oh wow.
Grew up in the same village. Yeah, I got photos of them together as kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, absolute madness.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll call it a day for now.
Yeah, it's been great,
and
mate.
we'll have to do this again.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
time.
100%, mate. Yeah, 100%.
Thank you very much for
Been
coming.
amazing,
Yeah, it's been a pleasure,
Been
man. Been a
amazing.
pleasure. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.